I think Westbrook is that type of athlete. He can still get to the rim and finish the basket.
Indiana Pacers 1-2 coming into this game. Jarace Walker is their big playmaker. Last game, they wanted to push him, started him at the 2. They're going to start him there again. They liked what they saw out of Jarace Walker.
He was absolutely terrific. Knocked down threes, got downhill in drives, made good decisions and plays for others. And, he pushed out the side of the box. You saw a versatile 6'8" player that can beat you off the bounce, make threes, and also get to the offensive glass.
So some confusion to start off the tip.
Every time we start a game, they
did not run. You know, it's okay. As long as it gets worked out. It's Vegas. It's relaxed. It's your last day. Enjoy your time here.
Exactly.
So here's Jarace Walker with the ball in his hands. 8th overall pick last year out of Houston. And that's what the Summer League is all about. Getting guys in different positions, showcasing what they can do. When the games, you want to win, but it really doesn't matter once you leave here.
You want to see what a player's potential is, so you try to make them a little bit more uncomfortable and ask them to do some things that they haven't been asked to do when the games actually make a difference, basically.
Here's P.J. Hall. He's been banged up this summer, but he does get the start here for the Denver Nuggets. Joined this team late, and there's his teammate in college from Clemson, Hunter Tyson, with the miss.
Yeah, with the miss, Johnny Furphy did a good job of running that ball down. And this is the part of the game that we have not seen from Walker before, his ability to come off ball screens and put the ball on the ground.
Look at that pass from Tshiebwe as Walker gets the scoring started.
And one of the most improved parts of Oscar Tshiebwe's game is his ability to see plays and make the right decision. And a terrific cut by Walker. Seeing Walker around the basket in college and in his start of his NBA career, his ability to make shots and beat people off the bounce and defend the perimeter has really been the difference so far this summer.
He just poked that away off of P.J. Hall. We take a look at the pass.
Look at Oscar right there. Look over your inside shoulder. Good job. Finds a nice cutter in Walker.
We spoke to Indiana Pacers Summer League head coach Nero Parker before the game, and he said that was the biggest improvement so far this summer for Oscar Tshiebwe. We know he can clean the glass, but once he gets that offensive rebound, now he's looking to find an outlet.
Yeah, and you know, the best threes usually are off an offensive rebound, spray it back out for step-in threes, and Oscar's done a better job in that. He's also been much more patient scoring around the basket.
There's Tshiebwe with a rebound. And
he'll say that a couple times.
Yeah.
Freeman's an interesting prospect because he runs the floor so hard and can really rebound the ball.
As Nero Parker, the Summer League head coach for the Indiana Pacers. A ton of turnovers from this team in their first few games, but it's because they're trying to play free. They're trying to play random. They're not trying to run as many sets. And he said, when you do that, mistakes will happen and they can live with that.
They play with flow. The Indiana Pacers teams plays with great flow. They don't run sets as much as they run concepts, and they play out of those concepts. And being very random makes them very hard to scout.
So you're going to see this a lot. Jarace Walker with the ball in his hand, trying to create something for this Pacers team. Here he is, 6'8", 240, finds Furphy in the corner. There's a good look, and once again, an offensive rebound.
Terrific pass.
Furphy reloads, now 0 for 2, and Tristan keeps it alive. Shot clock's at 2, and an offensive foul, a legal screen by Jarace Walker.
Trey Alexander for the Nuggets has been really interesting. I am shocked that he was undrafted. You know, when you watched him with Creighton, really well-coached basketball team, successful team, skilled, middle game, shoots the three, committed defender. I think he's a guy that has a chance to stick with this Nuggets team.
Currently, he's on a two-way with them, and when you talk to their head coach, Andrew Munson, says nothing phases him. There he is, calmly just dribbling through the D. Step back 3, and there's the first bucket for the Nuggets.
And really gets his feet underneath him, on balance, gets behind the ball, and makes a great decision. Kept his dribble alive, looking for a 45-degree cutter. It wasn't there. Makes the right decision. There's our favorite Nugget right there, Walter Ellis, son of LaFonso Ellis.
It's the start today. Hunter Tyson. A slow shooting start for the Nuggets. Ball on the floor. Look who comes away with it. It's Tshiebwe. Walker calls for it. Corner 3. And an over-the-back foul called against Johnny Furphy.
Walker's getting good looks. He's running to the corner. You talk about talking to the Pacer coaching staff, they want those guys sprinting to the corners. Why do you sprint to the corners? It opens up the floor for dribble penetration and puts the defense in, one of my favorite words, a conundrum.
Big words, I like that.
I'm working with you. You're, Dartmouth guy. I got to kind of challenge myself.
See, I elevate you this summer. I'll ask you to spell it next time.
You're getting help on that question. You didn't come up with that one on your own, I can tell you that. That's what P.J. Hall can do right there. He's a pick and pop 5 that can rebound the basketball, and I am not going to try to spell it.
Only use the words you can spell. Nice pass by Jarace Walker, and it's Enrique Freeman out of Akron laying it in.
Terrific pass by Walker. Need more ball pressure.
Walter Ellis with the and one.
And you think about Walter Ellis, you think of a jump shooter. What does he do? People close out on him hard, puts his eyes on the rim, drives it, plays through the contact.
League action.
You know the last time he was a head coach?
When was that?
Working at Fran McCaffrey basketball camp.
That's
Said it was a little more difficult coaching those 8th graders than coaching these guys right here.
First opportunity to be that head seat on the bench. And he decided now to start Walter Ellis because this team for the Denver Nuggets this summer has had trouble scoring, but Walter Ellis can give them some buckets.
This lineup right here with P.J. Hall being able to knock down jumpers, Walter Ellis, who can score the basketball, and then Trey Alexander, you've got 3 guys that can stretch a defense and put pressure on the defense, as well as this guy right here.
Tyson took it 1-on-3, and fortunate the Nuggets keep the ball.
I'm a big Hunter Tyson fan. I think he's trying to do too much. Knock down an open shot, put it on the floor to make 2 people play and make a play for someone else. His decision-making just hasn't been as good. He's almost trying a little bit too hard, which, again, Summer League, it's all right to make mistakes. Good catch.
Pick and roll, and Hall will lay it in. I want to go back to that point you just made. This is a time where they're trying to be a pro for the first time. They're trying to impress. They're trying to show off their skills. As a coach, how do you tell a guy to calm down while still showing his whole game?
Yeah, I think the big thing is show what you can do, not what you can't do. Play within yourself, but be aggressive. And I think right now he's trying to do a little bit too much. And I understand he's trying to challenge himself, but I think he's also got to play within his strengths.
Walter Ellis is calling for it. They find him. He will launch from deep and off the mark. It's a 4-point lead for the Nuggets. Shooting percentages have not been great for either team as Jarace Walker short. Nice rebound by Alexander to beat Shibwe, and Hunter Tyson with the breakout dunk.
Trey Alexander's made 3 really good plays. The pull-up jumper was absolutely terrific right there. Fight for the 50-50 ball, hit in the head. He's impacting the game on both sides of the floor.
Denver Nuggets on a 7-0 run. How do the Pacers get into this game here, Seth?
They've had some good looks. Jarace Walker's had some really wide open threes, hasn't been able to knock it down. The quality of their shots overall is not as good as the quality shots that Denver's got, and that's plain and simple. So they've got to be a little bit tougher defensively, get out in transition, got to make some open threes. I like this, though. I'll back him down.
That sky hook, and Walker missing it short. Alexander with the outlet pass, but a little too far for Tyson, still able to keep with it. A high lefty floater, Jameer Young off the bench out of Maryland.
Jameer Young is wired to score. When he gets to that left hand, he can get downhill. He can also shoot the pull-up jumper. He's been playing at a very high level in both of the games we've seen. Right there, gets his shoulders by the defense. Basically opposite foot with a little run. That's new right now. A big thing is playing off the bounce. The old days, you would say, I keep 2 hands on the ball, finish with 2 hands on the ball. A lot of guys have the ability now, right off the wrong foot, to lay it in because of the length at the rim. You've got to do that.
3-ball goes for Kendall Brown off the bench. He's on a 2-way here with the Indiana Pacers. They could use some scoring.
That's that corner spacing right there. Good job, baseline drive, baseline drift. He's shot ready, he knocks it down. They've gotten some pretty good shots. You've just got to make some of these.
Under 4 minutes to play here in this first quarter. Tyson trying to find his spot. Good shot.
Yeah, that was a good shot. He basically put the defender in jail, put him on his back, got to 15 feet.
Cordaz Mack out of California with that rebound.
I think the versatility of Trey Alexander, like he can be a backup point guard, he can play off the ball, he can rebound, he's got a really good middle game.
Pickett out of Penn State missing his first jumper off the bench. So we're seeing the second lines for both teams get into the ball game. Brown, catch and shoot.
You got to remember, the 7th day of the Summer League. 7th day of the Summer League, some of these guys now have played every other day. The grind of the Summer League eventually wears you down. The heat of Las Vegas, the pressure to play well for some of these guys that are trying to get either a two-way or a contract overseas. So it's interesting to watch. 8,000 people behind the bench that are wearing polo shirts. Do they get a ring?
I am not the person to ask. I wouldn't know.
It's an interesting question.
There are a lot of coaches.
The amount of support staff that travel with these teams in the Summer League, which is great because it's giving young people opportunities to experience what it's like to sit on an NBA bench. It's giving young coaches opportunities to be a head coach and make decisions and prepare teams to play. I mean, we're going to see the Wizards. They brought like 32 people.
When you talked about Denver, Andrew Munson getting his first opportunity as a head coach.
Since coaching at the Iowa basketball camp.
Yeah. John Beckett on the bench. He was the Summer League head coach last season for the Denver Nuggets. So they move it around as Walker can't handle it. Another turnover.
And I think it's terrific.
I apologize. He'll stay here with the Pacers.
We were talking to Coach. He said this has been an absolutely enlightening experience. And that's what it's supposed to be. You try to develop young coaches that have passion for the game. And like those guys on the bench, if you think you're going to coach in the NBA for the glamour, it ain't about the glamour. If you want to coach in the NBA, it's going to be about the grind. And you've got to embrace the grind. It's got to be part of your being. And those guys that are sitting behind that bench and sitting on those benches, those guys work their tails off all season long. Most of them in the film room, in game preparation, and anything else that the main team needs as they prepare for games.
Wipeout, but a foul called on Quentin Jackson. That's been the fun part of this week. Getting to talk to the coaches, getting to learn their strategies, and everyone's trying to get an edge, trying to find a new philosophy, trying to figure out what is the hot new system that people haven't used yet so that we can be the first.
Yeah, and also getting their voice. I mean, a lot of these guys are getting their voice for the first time. And it is when you move over on that bench, and you're a decision maker instead of got to make suggestions, it's a totally different experience. And how you're going to interact with the guys, your staff on the bench. There's that again, taking it off the dribble, trying to get to the line. Young is really good at that. Back in the day, you pick it up with two hands, collect yourself, maybe come to a jump stop, which isn't a bad thing if you feel like you're playing against a bigger defender that you can shot fake and crack. But being able to pick it up off the dribble with one hand, off your odd step, and finish against shot blockers is a really good thing.
Jahmir Young has certainly impressed this Nuggets team with his scoring ability, something that they've needed so far this summer. And now let's see how he defends Quentin Jackson. Quentin
Jackson can get in the lane and also impact the game defensively.
Trey Woodbury into the game. There goes Jackson trying to get downhill, spin it away from the defense, and he'll be fouled at the rim. He took a hard fall.
And that was a hard downhill drive. You think about why do you come off a dribble handoff? And this is something, let's see this play again. Look how hard he comes. Well, it's past the handoff, but people say, why do you put a guy in a ball screen? Why do you put a guy in a dribble handoff? The whole idea of that is to make two people play it. So you can play 4 on 3 behind. So like you see guys dribble handoff, if they're going laterally, that's not the idea. Come off that thing at full speed, hard, make two play it, and then make a decision.
Summer League action continues tonight here in Las Vegas on NBA TV, ESPN, and the ESPN app. Tonight on NBA TV, got Memphis taking on New Orleans at 6, Orlando and Brooklyn at 8, and the Clippers and the Utah Jazz finish off the night at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Quentin Jackson has an interesting role playing defense right now for Indiana. He's a combo guard, but they're asking a lot of him to really run the point. And so for him, another guy who has to make an adjustment and show the staff that he has what it takes to run the point guard.
Yeah, advantage, disadvantage, get your team in offense, be aggressive when the opportunity presents. But I really believe in the NBA, There's no real pure point guards anymore. They're what I call ball guards, which basically is point guards that can also score. I think in the NBA, you've got to be able to put pressure on the defense, especially on the perimeter. So, you've got to learn how to run a team, but you've also got to learn to be, continue to be aggressive. What happened there?
So the officials are going to come together. Looks like it was a shot clock malfunction.
Because there surely wasn't a violation.
No. Okay, so we've done some investigation. Let's take a look. The shot clock never reset. All right, so you asked the question earlier. If everyone on the bench gets a ring, if you win the championship here in the summer, yes, everyone, part of the staff, gets a ring.
Wow, it's big time.
And some people who are not on the bench actually get rings as well. $20 total rings allowed as part of the team. All right, so here's the standings here. Miami is 3-0. They lead the way in terms of point differential. Memphis right behind them. Neither of these teams right now on the floor will be in contention for the playoff run, but still have one more game after this one for some guys to show what they can do.
They all get a fifth game, and a lot of these guys right now, you know what they're playing for? They're playing for a G League contract. They're playing for an opportunity to go overseas and play at a high level. So they're playing for their team, whether it's the Pacers or the Nuggets, but they're also trying to build their resume, because how they play in Summer League is part of their resume.
Think about what they're asked to do, though, as Brown gets downhill and he'll be fouled. You joined with this team about a week or two ago. You're trying to figure out the organizational strength. You're trying to figure out what their sets are. You're trying to figure out the new terminology. And then in the next week, you're trying to show that you can implement that on the floor.
And you're trying to figure out how you fit within all that. And you also try to fit that you might have a different role that you're being asked to do as opposed to what you did from your college team or last year's G League team. That might have been, your role might have been different. And you also have to process a new system and then try to figure out how you can be productive in that system. So there are a lot of things, but that's all part of the evaluation process for these people that are coming and watching you play, whether it's other organizations or general managers from overseas, because you go overseas, I'll tell you something, rosters are fluid.
The money situation is fluid.
Yeah, you might get paid, you might not get paid.
Under a minute to play here in this first quarter. Williams calling for it, and that one can't stay down. Quentin Jackson with the poke out, a 3-on-1, and he will get fouled.
Quentin Jackson's going to get to the basket, but right there, and he drew the help defender in terms of playing off 2-on-1. That thing should have been lobbed up to the rim. Kendall Brown would have made that play. Watch on your right-hand side of the screen. There, here's the ball's coming on your right. On the other side, you'll see Brown. He was already there. That thing should have been at the rim. And who knows, we could have had an Alondes Williams type play.
He was pointing.
He was pointing. How about Alondes Williams?
Oh.
You became a famous guy.
You and me both, because we knew at the moment.
Call was unbelievable.
We knew it. I appreciate that. We knew at the moment that was the dunk of the summer. Let's take a look at the Indiana Pacers season recap. Finished 6th in the East, reached the East Finals for the first time since 2014. And in a state like Indiana that loves their basketball, they were captivated with the playoff run by the Indiana Pacers.
Not only captivated by the playoff run, but how they play. They play with great pace, great flow, very random. They get in the offense quickly, and they played without Benedict Mathurin. I say this a lot. Benedict Mathurin, when healthy, is a dynamic offensive player that becomes a matchup problem.
Shot clock is turned off. 13 seconds. Let's see what Quentin Jackson decides to do to end this first quarter.
He's going to get a high ball screen, and Furphy's going to slip out. There you go.
Furphy now gets downhill, stripped out of bounds. 4.8 on the clock.
That was going to be an automatic. Furphy was going to set the screen. That was going to be an automatic ghost. If they got caught in communication, it was a downhill drive. If not, they were going to be kicking out to Furphy.
Furphy trying to curl. They guard him.
Nice slip.
Inside and one, Enrique Freeman. Looked like he was about the 4th option there.
It's a great, no, he's the 3rd option. Basically, Furphy came off in the first stagger. Woodbury came off in the second. They tried to extend it out. The middle of the floor is wide open. Boom. Watch again, right here on the left-hand side of the screen. That's the end of the play. There's the slip. But those first two cutters, Furphy curled the first one. Woodbury came off the second one. They were worried about that. He's looking for a three. They had to show a little bit off the screener, and that's where you get the slip. Really nice job. Great execution.
Freeman left it short. We've seen a lot of shots left short today at the horn, and Brown doesn't get it to go. So Indiana with a little comeback. They trail by 5 at the end of the first quarter.
Special situation underneath out of bounds. Watch Furphy on the right-hand side of the screen. He's coming off that screen. Here comes Woodbury. They show. Here's the slip in the middle.
Back to Thomas and Mack Center. I'm here with Jarace Walker. You guys were able to put together a little bit of a run to get some momentum closing the first. What went into that?
I feel like just more movement on offense. We started getting downhill more and stopped settling for just the first open three.
When you're crashing the boards, what are you looking for? What are you looking at when grabbing a rebound?
Where I'm at on the floor, if I need to get back, if I need to crash, who's getting back. I'm just trying to balance the floor out, knowing when to go, when not to go.
Thank you so much, guys.
He's probably also looking to see where his partner Sheepway's at, because he's probably coming through trying to grab that thing out of the air. Josiah Jordan-James hoists one off the mark, and Jahmir Young, he has been all around the ball for the Denver Nuggets.
Jahmir Young is hard to keep out of the lane. He plays really hard. You're talking about a fifth-year guy, more mature. Josiah Jordan-James had a heck of a career at Tennessee. Fifth-year guy, the ultimate glue guy, the ultimate winning player, can defend 1 through 4. Gotham with that rebound. He played at Grand Canyon, same school where Walter Ellis played.
That's right. Alexander. And that one stripped out of bounds. It'll stay here. All right, if you're just joining us, the big news, the Woj bomb of the day. Russell Westbrook involved in a sign and trade with the Clippers and the Jazz. And then as Woj has reported, the Jazz are expected to waive Westbrook, and he will join the Denver Nuggets.
I think it's a good move for Denver. I mean, you know, Denver has their core 4. They've got some talented guys. Julian Strawther played well. Obviously, Christian Brown is a piece they're expecting more out of. But to have, as long as Russell Westbrook embraces his role, you've got a chance to really add a piece that can impact winning with his athleticism, toughness. The guy was the most outstanding player in the NBA. 2-time All-NBA player. 199 triple-doubles. I mean, his career is so well documented. I think he'll buy it. You guys talked about the relationship he has with the Joker. Pretty exciting.
9-time All-Star, 9-time All-NBA, 2-time scoring champ. And this is the roster that he will be added to. When everybody is healthy, watch out, because this is a lethal Denver Nuggets team.
And Denver needs one more guy that can beat you off the bounce and get to the basket. And he can still do that. They didn't have that one breakdown guy that can just go make a play. And when you're playing with Jamal Murray, you're playing with Joker, you're playing with Gordon, you get in the lane. What if you put people in rotation? Gordon's getting to the glass. But you've got to guard those guys on the perimeter, so he's going to have a lot of space to play with. And he won't be under the microscope of LA.
See who's going to pick up the scoring for both sides, because the ball has not been falling here for the 4th game for both teams here.
That is a tad of an understatement.
Trying to be kind.
Coming out of that timeout, just to kind of put in perspective, Indiana's 4 for 21 for 11 from the three-point line. On the other end, Denver is 1 for 8 from the three-point line and 6 for 16. So
we heard Jarace Walker talk to Kendra about we want to try and stop settling for that first jump shot because they're clearly not falling. Let's see if the Pacers decide to start attacking the rim here.
I really like Lance Jones. He was a big piece of Purdue's success this year. Transfer from Southern Illinois. Can really defend, make an open shot, has a little toughness to him. Like he's a perfect example of a guy playing for a G League contract or playing to have an opportunity to go overseas and continue his career. That's a foul. They were trying to push up on that ball screen with P.J. Hall, and official took that away from him.
PJ Hall is also pretty interesting because he's a guy, spent 4 years at Clemson, on a two-way here with the Nuggets. Got a ton of skills. Actually, Summer League head coach Andrew Munson said, obviously he's not Joker, but has that similar type of a game that he fits into this Denver system.
Yeah, he can pass it. He can really shoot it, so he's kind of a ghost screen, pick and pop guy off the perimeter. He's a willing passer. And he's a great story because he could have maybe come out earlier. I mean, he had an incredible career at Clemson. He loved college. You know, you talk about which route do you need to go. It all depends on the individual. That guy loved his college experience. He loved Clemson. And, you know, to me, more power to him. And he had an amazing year. And, you know, someday his jersey could maybe be hanging in the rafters at Little John Coliseum. So good for him. And now he chases his next dream.
We've seen the NBA go in waves where there's one and dones and we want to figure out who's the next young phenom. Now it seems like we're seeing guys stay in college longer because it seems like guys need to be more of a ready product once they get to the NBA because they know there aren't many minutes to go around.
Well, a couple things. The big staying longer because obviously there's a difference. NIL money is a difference maker. Roster spots are being expanded in the NBA with the two-way contracts, but NIL, a high major school, your NIL deal will be far greater than playing in the G League or a two-way contract. If you're a second-round draft choice and non-guaranteed and you end up with a two-way contract, you know, the odds are that your NIL deal will be better than that.
Well, let's be real. G League, you're making what, like $50,000, $60,000
You know better than I do. Right. I mean, I don't know the numbers there, but and the other thing is we see too many guys go early. See, it's not about getting to the lead; it's about staying in the lead. So some guys think it's a rite of passage. Well, you know, they leave early, and then they never become the best version of themselves, and it's hard to be that person, you know, in the NBA trying to carve out your opportunity. So I would like to see like more guys stay, develop their games, work on their games, become winning players, so then when they go to the league, they can fit a role.
How many coaches have we heard from in the NBA as we take another look at this play? Nice block there by PJ Hall. Coaches have to win.
Yeah.
You want to develop guys, but not at the cost of winning, and it's a very hard decision if you have a young player who could just not give you a skill at the NBA level for time.
You've got to have a skill. After your first 3, 4, 5 guys, that second unit, or especially 6, 7, and 8, those guys have to fit with your best players. All right? And it's hard for a kid coming out of college who thinks he's a great player to all of a sudden be put in a little bit of smaller box, but he's got to play off those 3 guys that are featured. Make one shot. There you go.
Hunter Tyson, a tough one, gets the turnaround.
Good patience by Hunter Tyson. Like, Hunter Tyson could be a piece because he's a ball mover. He's got to make shots consistently. He is a fairly physical defender, and he's versatile. Versatility and agility is really important.
A block is called as Trey Alexander will get a trip to the
kind of like you.
line.
One day you're calling a baseball game. Next day you're here in the summer league. You'll be getting ready for football. PJ Hall, Tyson. Watch Tyson. A little back there. Watch his patience. 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 If it's creates a little separation.
You could also say good D by Enrique Freeman.
He did. He basically walled up and forced a contested fadeaway shot. See, like Hunter Tyson's role with the Nuggets is totally different than the way he's playing right now. Like all he's doing off the Nuggets is playing off those other guys. Here, he's more of a focal point of the scouting report. He's being asked to do more, which will help him become a better player. But when he gets back with the Nuggets, defend, rebound, run, knock down open shots, and play off of Jamal Murray, play off of Joker, play off of Gordon, play off of those other guys, and that's going to be your role.
Here's Furphy with a hand in his face, and the cold shooting continues for the Pacers.
That was not a good shot. They created nothing out of that dribble handoff.
Ellis too strong. Indiana is 1 for 14 from deep to start this game. Furphy trying to go one-on-one. Ellis, nice job moving his feet.
Really good
but the cutter is denied. What a block by P.J. Hall.
That's P.J. Hall's second block. It was a great cut by Josiah James, but a great reaction in terms of defensive range, help on the drive, and then recover and contest that cut. Really, really nice job by P.J. Hall. Watch the middle of the lane right here. P.J. Hall has a help defender.
Night, we are here with Monty McCutcheon, one of the best NBA refs of all time. Now you train the next generation.
He's a lot smarter sitting here, I can tell you that much. You have no idea, Seth. You have no idea.
A lot of new things in the NBA. Let's start with this past season. The flopping rule was one of the biggest. How did that go? What'd you think? Any adjustments need to be made?
You know, we're really happy with that initiative. We had a two-tiered system where we got it in-game or post-game, and the players are always the best at adjusting. Our coaches are always the best at coaching what our consistent work can lead to, and we are happy with the initiative. I don't think we'll see much change. It got passed as a permanent, situation, and so it's here to stay, and I think it's better for the game, obviously.
You guys, you're here evaluating officials. What are you looking for in these young officials as you try to find the next generation of officials?
We want to see that the game is starting to slow down for them. It's not much different, Seth, than you would like to see from a freshman year to a sophomore year. Are they able to go through their progressions? So when we have a contested jump shot, we want to see them take the play up. We want to bring the shooter all the way down and then go to our rebounding. If we can see their eyes, we can see their heads, where they're looking, and in the proper sequencing. And when we see that, the game starts to slow down, decision-making gets better, and we think they're more ready to move on to next levels.
Who makes a good NBA ref? I mean, tell me the path and what it takes and what their background is.
Yeah, our scouting department looks at over 3,000 referees through a season. We get that winnowed down to about 100 that go through 3 sets of camps for us before they get hired into the G League. There are certain characteristics that make for a good referee, as we see a great shot there. And those characteristics are, can you give strength without arrogance? Can you give humility without weakness? Can you be a good teammate? All the attributes that make for good coaching and good playing, those characteristics make for good refereeing as well.
And you talk about teammates, because following every game, can you quickly just go through the post-game process? Because the game's over, and the game isn't over for those officials.
Yeah, it's about halftime for us when the game is over. We watch a lot of tape. There's reports to fill out, of course. Referees are no different than other stakeholders in that the people who are most committed get the most out of the profession and give the most to the league. And referees serve the game. You've heard me say that before, but players and coaches and franchises are the game. We serve the game, but that doesn't mean our work is less, because without it, we don't have the proper environment for players and coaches to excel.
The new initiative this summer, the approximate foul.
Yeah.
Describe what that is and how it's going here in Vegas.
So we had a couple of plays in the playoffs that replay should always be serving the game. And you're always trying to find the right balance between slowing the game down and getting the call right. But we had a couple of plays in the playoffs that highlighted where replay could further continue to serve the game. And so if we have an out of bounds, and we get in the past seasons, we'd go over and see that the defender didn't touch the ball, but in fact fouled the offensive player, but the ball went off the offensive player. We're now going to be able to rule, potentially, we're going to make this decision later in the year, supposedly, but here at Summer League, we've been testing that once they get to replay, they can make a decision on a foul that was proximate to the play. Now, proximate means, as we see a foul here, proximate means a combination of the players involved, the timing of the play, and or the distance the foul took place from the ultimate out of bounds. If all of those are proximate to the play, then they're going to be able to rule that the foul occurred, and we're more likely to get this play called right. You know the plays we're talking about. There's a play in the conference finals and even one in the finals. And with that, we think replay will serve the game better, and it won't take up any more time.
And how difficult is that in terms of dealing with the coaches when you have a new initiative like that? Does that make it easier, big picture, for the officials?
I think so. You know, the Summer League is a wonderful league in and of itself in its own right, but it also serves as a wonderful proving ground for these new initiatives so that we can see it in real time. Coaches and franchises can get used to it before it potentially comes into play in the fall. And like most things, coaches then learn how to use replay with the assistant coaches helping along those lines to show what they should and should not tough challenge.
I got to ask you a question. It's probably going to be the most controversial question I've asked all week, but the regular season, in my opinion, and you can help me on this, looks one way to me. The playoffs, to me, looks like a different animal.
Well, it's a complex issue, and we hear some of that criticism. We try to teach the same thing. So we never want to say that a play should be called in the regular season but not called in the playoffs. To not acknowledge, though, that the playoffs is played differently, with more intensity, with shorter rotations, that would not be honest as well. What we want to make sure that we're doing, though, is upholding the standards that we did in November, because if you've coached to this all year long and now we capriciously change it without telling anyone, that's really unfair to our stakeholders. The intensity definitely goes.
We got to go to break. I want you to stay with us because there's so much we want to catch up on. Trip in Las Vegas, come on inside to us. Seth Greenberg, John Schriffen, Kendra Andrews, and Monty McCutcheon. We're talking NBA refereeing and the new rules, the new initiatives. The earpiece is a new thing that the referees are trying out here this summer. How has that been going?
We're very happy with the feedback. As I said earlier, we're trying to get feedback on it. The idea would be that the communication between Replay Center and officials could be sped up. Once again, replay is this constant balance between getting calls right and not interrupting flow. We think that this is an opportunity to communicate to referees on plays that the Replay Center is quick to make decisions on, that we wouldn't have to stop the game for near as much, and we're excited about it.
When I coached, I didn't want them to have earpieces. I want them to have earplugs so they didn't have to pay attention and listen to me is what I wanted.
Well,
how many guys are in Secaucus evaluating on the Replay Center?
Well, it depends on any given.
How that happens.
Yeah, on any given night, it's based on the game schedule. Seth, you know, if we have 13 games, we've got quite a few referees in there. If it's 4 games for the night, then lesser amounts can do that. They're in constant communication. The referees that are in Replay Center, in effect, are the 4th official on a game, and they give a lot of input. Almost all calls are made from that official in the replay. Some of the on-court matters like flagrant fouls and altercations still lie with the people on the floor. Obviously, they're feeling the moment and can make the best decisions there. But we're very happy with how replay is working to serve the game.
Any chance we could get more insight in terms of miking up the Replay Center and figuring out how the anatomy of a call works?
You know, I think that any of those ideas, when they're proposed, are open to us. Access is something that we're all looking for. We have nothing to hide with our work, and so I don't think that there would be any issue with that. A lot of that is dependent upon, you know, making sure that whatever we're sharing doesn't impede the people from doing the work itself. I think that's important.
That would be difficult. You can only have it's almost like a head coach and having too many assistants talking to him at once.
Yeah, but Kane Fitzgerald, who leads up our team in the Replay Center, does a great job in the aftermath of going in to explain the call, and I think that goes a long way to educating the public.
Can you explain to the people watching, you talking about this crew is a team?
Yes.
All right. Do they have a crew chief within?
They do,
team?
But that's only in regards to rules. The responsibilities of a 3-person crew all lie with where the ball goes from strong side to weak side. You know, on any given possession, our eye contact between each other will determine who's on ball, who's off ball. Coach K has a great statement that I love so much, that 2 is better than 1 when 2 act as 1. For us, obviously, that's 3 is better than 1. And when we're at our best, everyone's refereeing 1/3. They're seeing plays longer, which means they're seeing them slower, and our accuracy goes up when we work as a team.
Referees are constantly being evaluated and graded. Talk about that process and what it takes to go and look back at the grading system, and what's a high-level grade for an NBA official?
Well, you know, every play, every material non-call, now every dribble, we're not Boban on the commercial where we say he dribbled it again, and we get a correct call, you know, but every every material non-call, if we have a meeting at the rim that results in a no call, we grade that as either correct or incorrect as a no call. Obviously, every whistle is graded. So thousands and tens of thousands of decisions by NBA referees are graded every year. And with that, we have a profile of who is accurate, who should be getting playoff assignments, and that evaluation goes a long way, along with team feedback, obviously referee operations and our team, Albert Sanders and myself, along with our developmental advisors, which is ex-NBA referees, Joey Crawford, some of the names you might know, Bennett Salvatore, Duke Callahan. All of these people are then assessing and helping evaluate so that we have a broad view of who's had good years, because the game requires that the best referees are working at the best time of the year.
What's a full schedule for an official? How many nights?
Probably
Players play 82 games.
Referees are going to, our top referees are going to work anywhere from 65 to 66, plus then on into the playoffs.
Monty McCutcheon, I love spending some time. 5 Summer League from Las Vegas. It has been all Denver Nuggets. Shout out to Trey Alexander of the Nuggets and Johnny Furphy of the Pacers for wearing the mics for us today. Seth, we love that access.
It's terrific. And, you're hearing young players kind of grow and develop and mature, being the leaders. You heard Trey Alexander talk throughout that. He had a really solid first half. Didn't shoot it great. There's that pull-up, that middle game that you must have in the NBA. He's got size. He could be an elite defender. I've been really impressed with him. And, again, you want to win, but it's more about the process for these young players.
Trey Alexander now leads all scorers with 12. Oh, hello, Tristan Newton with the 3 plus the foul.
National champion Tristan Newton. You're talking about a guy, think about it, 3 years at East Carolina. Watch him right here a little. This is Trey Alexander, just getting to a spot, being patient, jumping up, knocking it down, and then Newton, really, he made a lot of big shots for UConn on their way to a national championship. And the guy, 3 years at East Carolina, right? 2 transfers to Connecticut, 2-time back-to-back national champions. Bob Cousy Award winner, most outstanding player in the NCAA tournament, and his number is hanging in Gampel Pavilion. That's a pretty good career.
You know what's interesting? We talked to Jannero Pargo, Indiana Pacers Summer League head coach, and he said the transition now for a guy like Tristan Newton is we play so free. We don't really want to call plays, but in college he ran a lot of sets. So for him, it's now learning how to play with this freedom.
Yeah, to me, I'm not sure he's studied UConn enough, because UConn, nice pass right there. Got to have ball pressure. No ball pressure, great cut again by Furphy. UConn runs concepts, and they layer their concepts in. A lot of their stuff is read and react. But they're going to go deeper into the clock. They don't play in as much flow. It's advantage, disadvantage, and transition, and then they'll get into their concepts. So, again, coach doesn't watch as much college basketball as, say, we do. But for Tristan, it's more the ball was always in his hands as initiator. Now he's just part of the system.
Much better start to the second half of the Indiana Pacers. Yeah.
Really good pass right there by Walker. You got to have pressure on the ball.
Shrink down to 10. Opening minutes here in this third quarter. John Schriffen alongside Seth Greenberg, Kendra Andrews. Our final day here in Las Vegas, but the action will continue all through Monday night when the championship game and a trophy will be given out to the winner here of the NBA 2K25 Summer League. Walker with a little scoop shot, and PJ Hall clears it. Walter Ellis in transition.
And you would ask me, is that a good shot? For Walter Ellis, who's an elite three-point shooter, it's a good shot. That's who he is. He's to be shot ready and let that thing fly. Or as LaFonso Ellis, his dad would say, shoot that thing, Walter.
One thing we know, Walter Ellis has been coached up well.
No doubt about it. In basketball and in life.
Follow slam by P.J. Hall. He has been active at both ends of the floor.
P.J. Hall's been really good. 2 blocks. Done a nice job defensively, being kind of a rim protector and active. We know he can knock down shots, and that's an offensive foul.
Sheba threw his hands up, but they call the offensive foul against him.
There's Walt.
Getting the start today.
My opinion on that shot might have been not have been the same as the coaching staff as Walter takes a seat. Yeah, that's exciting for him. I mean, he had a very good college career. And he's talking to Andre Miller, who's the G League coach for Denver. said he's been absolutely a huge part of what they're doing. But to get a chance to start in Summer League is huge. And it couldn't happen to a better person who has also worked really hard at his game.
Alexander able to get around that corner with the defender on him. And a foul goes against Furphy.
Now look at Trey Alexander. He got to the rim right there, and he tried to force that pass to Hall. He's got to read. When he turns the corner, that help defender. And if that guy's in his lane as a help defender, he's a passer. If he's out of his lane, he's got to think shot. Right there, he tried to force that pass to Hall. He should have taken that right to the front of the rim.
Kenji, what else do you have on Trey?
The Nuggets Summer League coach Andrew Munson was actually coached by Jeff Vanderloo, who is the director of basketball operations at Creighton, where Trey Alexander played. So the Nuggets were very familiar with Alexander's game when he came to Summer League. And right now, Trey Alexander just says, I feel like I am proving that I belong. I feel like I am impacting the winning of this team. He wants to find a way to fit in with the Nuggets. He's had close contact with head coach Michael Malone, just trying to find an opportunity with the Nuggets in the big club.
Kendra, they love him here at Denver, and they say Trey Alexander is a guy who could just get to any spot he wants to on the floor.
Oscar Tshiebwe stepping out, knocking down that free throw jumper. I watched Trey Alexander all season long. I thought early in the season he was a late first-round pick, early second-round pick. To be undrafted, all right, he's a guy that will end up playing in the NBA. And P.J. Hall once again making a good play.
So the Pacers want to call a timeout, as Denver has responded after the hot start for Indiana in this third quarter. A little Olay defense.
Right there, fake the dribble handoff, put it down with a purpose, bad communication defensively.
For the rest of the team for Denver Nuggets, 26.
Both guys been very aggressive offensively, but they haven't taken bad shots. And they've got all their scoring opportunities within the offense. That's an area where Oscar's gotten a little bit better at playing with dribble handoffs. Watch him pursue the ball.
It is funny. As soon as you said that, my eyes drawn right to Tshiebwe locking up with P.J. Hall under the basket.
And that's a battle. But Walker making his first three. He is so comfortable shooting. A good relocate right there by Tyson.
Tyson off the mark, and Furphy ripping it down.
Furphy, a little more athletic, a better defender than people realize. Good relocate. There's that corner spacing.
Freeman off the mark, and it's Furphy on the offensive glass, plus the foul.
Furphy's skinny, but the dude is bouncy. And he can really move his feet. He moves his feet better defensively than people think. He's got to make shots. He's a terrific cutter, and he's not afraid to get hit. And watch underneath the basket here. You're going to see him right now. He's going to move to an open spot when that ball's shot. He'll cross the lane and catch it on the weak side. He was on the right side of the lane when that ball was shot. He saw the flight of the ball. Nice job of getting into a position to rebound.
It's the second bucket for Furphy today. He's got 5 points. How about this full court press by Indiana trying to pick up?
Buy a little time. Now all of a sudden, Denver's got less time to get into their offense. Got to get into it a little quicker. There's that short three-point shot. The difference between the college three-pointer and the NBA three-pointer, you've seen a lot of these guys come up a little bit short.
Jarris Walker getting downhill all the way to the rim, and he'll be fouled by Tyson.
He's an interesting guy to put in that trail spot in transition. If you hit him, he can drive it, he can shoot it, he can throw it and chase it to a ball screen where he can either pick a pop, slip. And look at that body. I mean, he's got that big physical body, and he's got soft hands. He's made some good passes. Hasn't shot it well today, but he really shot it well the other day.
He is 3 of 12 from the floor so far today.
I have to tell you, I went to watch Houston practice his freshman year.
Yeah.
Let's look at that roster right there. And when you got a guy who can run the show like Albert and Nembhard, both of those guys can initiate offense. Nesmith can obviously knock it down, but Mathurin is going to be a problem. The addition of Pascal Siakam really changed their team. But so I'm at practice, and Jarris Walker took 2 on the block, like fadeaways, like real fadeaways, where he caught it at 10 feet and shot it from 15. Kelvin Sampson stops the practice. And he makes him catch it on the block, and he probably 10 minutes. He had to get 2 feet in the paint and try to punch it on someone's head. The total practice plan ended. So, Jarace, you're going to finish at the rim. You're not going to settle. But now we see a guy who can step out, make threes, drive it from the high post, and make plays.
Is there a better coach in college than Kelvin Sampson in getting the most out of his players? He knows exactly what he's looking for. And to your point, I've been to plenty of Houston practices. It's not going down unless you do it his way.
It's a non-debatable issue. It is not a democracy, I can tell you that much. I'll tell you what Kelvin said, 2 things he does. He's got terrific players. His coaching staff, a key to an assistant coach is who can play for your head coach. And then you recruit guys that fit not only the system, man, that's a foul. Not only the system, but who will buy in and fit your culture and your identity. And the coaching staff at Houston does a great job of it. Kelvin understands exactly the type of players he wants. And once they get there, when they're recruited, they're not being told it's going to be easy. They're going to be told you're going to be held accountable every single day. And this is how we play. And this is our culture. And this is our identity. And if you don't buy in, you don't play. It's that plain and simple. It's not a democracy.
Jarace Walker, the first ever McDonald's All-American to play at Houston. And Kelvin Sampson continues to get top-tier talent now.
In the Big 12, a lot of people think, once again, they're going to compete for not only the Big 12 championship, but around the Final Four. And how about the Fertitta Center? Like, I coached in Hofheinz Pavilion. It was friends and family only. I mean, the best part of going to Hofheinz Pavilion was when back in the day, you know, you looked up in the rafters and you saw Elijah Wan and you saw Elvin Hayes and Guy V. And Guy V would be there and he would literally be there early. He might be sitting by himself because there weren't a lot of people there. And I'd go out early and sit with him. Highlight of my trip to Houston. Guy V. Lewis, sitting with him talking ball about an hour and a half before the game. It was unbelievable.
There's a great article, and I apologize, I forget where I read this, but when Kelvin Sampson first took over at Houston, he wasn't competing just to get people in the stands. He was competing against the cats and the rats in the locker room.
Oh, no, it was disgusting.
Who took over the place. That is not
if
what
you
it
thought that locker room was bad, you should have seen the visiting locker room. It was disgusting.
Oh, man, what he has done at Houston.
How about the practice facility they built?
Yeah.
And when you start looking on the wall of the practice facility, you see Drexler and Hayes and Elijah Wan. I mean, like, it just resonates.
It's so good. NBA teams, when they come to town, they come and practice at Houston.
Oh, it's great.
They come and work out in their weight room. They come and
great.
practice on the floor.
They should go into the kitchen area because there's a lot of good meals there. Those guys get fed all their meals and take stuff back to the dorms. I mean, he's put that thing together.
You see their sneaker collection? Yeah. They are a tier 1 Jordan level school now. They get the best of the best exclusive kicks.
And Kelvin's got his hands on every aspect of that program.
Yeah.
I mean, like, he's the athletic director for basically the basketball program, the president, the athletic director, the coach, the GM, and everything else.
I think Kelvin Sampson is the first college coach you've mentioned today.
Give me time. It's still early. I don't know what the bingo card looks like right now.
You've mentioned them all.
I should have mentioned Brad Brownell. He's got 2 of his guys playing in here. I was waxing poetically about how much that P.J. Hall loves Clemson. But one of the reasons he loves Clemson is because Brad Brownell is a guy that guys like to play for. Okay, I got to it. You see, you challenge.
How many have we had this week, though?
Oh, multiple.
At least, what, 30?
There's a running joke for our game day crew. Reese Davis legitimately tries to play this game he'll name a random school and ask me the coach. Now, I'm not as good as he thinks I am, but now I have to really study it because, you know, I don't want to be called out in the middle of the show. So don't you try that.
I mean, you just told me basically to try it.
No,
clearing the lane
that way.
As Jameer Young lays it in. So a technical foul was called against Georgi Bezhanishvili.
Good hands right there.
UMBC.
Yeah. Coach Ferry, come on now.
Look at Seth Greenberg.
Hey, by the way, the guy to your left, he's got to stop right now. Jack Castleberry, Fairleigh Dickinson, Harvard on the Hackensack. Let's get back to the game.
Do they send you free gear? Is that what this is about?
No. I mean, look, I've coached for 33 years.
What did you just get past?
Wow, Dave Freed and Ferry coached Little League together on Long Island.
Okay, all right.
I like it. Really good coach. Was at LIU before that, did a terrific job. Took LIU to the NCAA tournament. Nice back cut.
Oh, what a pass. But a rejection on the other end. Bezhanishvili. Extra pass is to James, and he nails the three. There's a good offensive possession from Indiana. The lead is cut down to 9, just under 3 minutes to play here in this third quarter.
Look at Walker try to blow up that dribble handoff. That was really nice.
Tyson, mid-range, got it.
But that was within rhythm on a hard bounce, created a little separation. That's the shot he has to make. Jackson is
hanging, and Bezhanishvili put his hand on the rim, so no bucket.
Pacers little skip, one more. Josiah James knocks down that jumper. Josiah James was like a Swiss Army knife for Tennessee. He defended 1 through 5. Whatever Rick Barnes needed, he would be able to embrace that role. Oh, I forgot. I should have said that.
No, you can shout out Rick Barnes. I mean, he's one of the OGs of college basketball. Talk about having a place rocking. Tennessee, that place is packed now every single game.
Fun. That place is fun to watch. Yeah, that arena and that arena is terrific, as is their practice facility.
Josiah Jordan James is third in program history with 114 wins his time at Tennessee.
He's a winner. He and Santi Vescovi, those two guys, their careers were absolutely phenomenal at Tennessee. Good rebound by Walter Ellis. Bryce Drew. Don't be loose with the ball.
3-on-2 fast break for Indiana. Brown finding the open Jackson from the corner. And that's how you won the fast break.
And that's a great job of Jackson relocating and getting outside the 3 to create that little drive and kick.
1:30 to play in this third quarter. Indiana continues to chip away at this lead.
Remember when guys used to run for layups? That's a thing of the past. The ball might drive it to layups, but I'll tell you what, if you get a paint touch, you better have 2 guys behind the 3. Good catch there.
Nice job by Walter Ellis getting back in transition. Summer League action continues tonight in Las Vegas on NBA TV, ESPN, and the ESPN app. NBA TV tonight, Memphis taking on New Orleans.
Let me ask you, we're watching Denver play. You watch a lot of NBA. Obviously, you do an amazing job with last year with G League Ignite. Although your overall record between G League Ignite and the White Sox,
I knew you would have to go there. I knew you were going to go there.
But you're the losingest announcer in America. But besides that,
wow.
Russell Westbrook with Denver. You got to be excited. Here are the standings right here. I'll let you talk about some winning teams.
So Memphis is in action tonight. They are 3-0. The Clippers are in action tonight. They are 3-0. Memphis has a really good team. We saw them. Scottie Pippen Jr. has one of the best on-ball defensive so far efforts in the summer we've seen.
He's been terrific. He's dominated the game at the point of attack defensively. And that's a big part of their offense, just their ball pressure, forcing people to run their offense so far away from the basket.
I love how you took a shot at me about my announcing
I did that,
record.
But I have to admit, I did it. It's because Rod Baker sent me a text message and it told me that, he's having a tough year.
I want to get Kendra involved in this one, because Kendra, you're a part of our squad here.
Yes.
We all, take care of each other. I took everyone out to dinner to the top restaurant in town in Piero's.
Pat took great care of us.
I put my card down, took care of everybody else. And Seth, what did Seth do for us?
Well, he brought us
your pretzels.
Got us pretzels today. That's the
pretzels the last 2 days, and I think, you know what? She appreciates a good pretzel.
Kendra, who would you rather go to dinner with?
Oh, my gosh. Do I have to pick one? Why can't I have my pretzel in the afternoon and my Italian dinner at night?
Exactly. And look, hey, I have to admit, The dinner was absolutely phenomenal. Not only the dinner,
This is what we get.
The dining experience.
This is what Seth Greenberg does.
And you didn't even finish it.
I know.
It's unacceptable.
A dry pretzel.
Look,
and I take you guys
every
to
arena you go
Piero's.
to, every arena you got to find something that's like really good. Like, you go to, Rupp, great ice cream. Certainly, Kansas, great popcorn. Thomas and Mack, the first day the pretzel was great. Last 2 days, it was good. Obviously, it's no longer here, so I thought it was pretty good. Kendrick's not going to throw me under the bus. Piero's was absolutely the whole experience.
It
Jerry
was.
Tarkanian room, the whole experience was great.
And Coach, I will tell you, my pretzel today was a little bit too salty for my liking, so I do have some left over down by my seat.
See,
Kendra,
I think
hate to
Kendra's
tell you,
voting
but you
for
can
me.
take your hand on the pretzel and kind of brush the salt off, and then, you'll be fine.
I'll work on that.
At the end of
Try to get easy ones, try to get downhill, get to the line.
You're nearly perfect from the floor tonight. What has allowed you to find your spots?
Just attacking angles, just trying to get mismatches and just get downhill, use my speed to my advantage.
Thanks so much.
Thanks for having me.
Guys.
I appreciate that. We start this fourth quarter.
He's going to earn himself either a two-way or a G League contract or a pretty good job overseas because he can score, he's aggressive, and he attacks and plays downhill.
Furphy, step back three, tough shot. Still has not gotten a three to fall. He's now 0 for 6 from beyond the arc.
He's better moving off screens and playing as a cutter and then getting his threes off of spot-ups and kickouts. Not as good right now off the bounce. When you put Hall and Alexander in the ball screen together, obviously you got to stay. But, right now, Young, his ability to get to the basket and finish. He changes speeds. He's got good quickness, can really shoot the three. And you see right there, off the bounce, one hand, gets to the rim quickly, uses the rim to protect, takes it to the other side. He's been really good offensively, and the guy can really score. There were games that Maryland would get stuck offensively, and he would just take over games for them.
Good D by Hall there. He was fronting the post.
Yeah, just a bad pass. Sometimes you got to use your dribble to create a better passing lane, and if defenders either on one side, then get it swung and feed it from the wing. But got to be better with the basketball.
Kendra, what do you got about Trey Alexander?
Good spot up right there. Way to move to an open spot. Stepped out of bounds.
She got that pretzel. It was so dry. I think it stuck in her throat. So you give out dry pretzels, man.
Dust off the salt. We're fine. Let's get back to the game.
Indiana had 26 points in that first half. They scored 26 in the third as they climb back into this ball game, only down by 7 right now.
That's a bucket. Off the catch. You see, he moving, getting spotted up behind the basketball where he can step into his shot, be on balance. He'll develop to be able to shoot it off the dribble, but he's better as a cutter and a spot-up guy who can defend some and have some athleticism. Good back cut right there and a really good pass.
Tyson finishes it off.
Tiger to Tiger right there. Really good backdoor cut and really good pass by P.J. Hall. Again, every time you see a pass from the top of the circle to the basket, you know what that means? You got to have a little bit more ball pressure right there. Good job by P.J. Hall and terrific cut out of the corner. We talked about corner back doors. Out of the corner, really nice cut by Tyson. They ran that kind of action a bunch of times at Clemson.
Tyson was 4 for 10 in their last game in a loss for the Nuggets. They said they really wanted to get him some more looks, especially from around the three-point arc. He's a guy they want to focus on in this offense.
It's kind of the shots he's going to get. Again, when you play him in some league, his role's a little different. He's not a guy that's going to chase shots when he's playing, next season. He's a guy that's going to play off of guys that are going to create shots for him, whether as a cutter because people are turning their head or in rotation, or off penetration where he can come behind a play, spot up, and knock down an open three.
Furphy, catch and shoot. And that's the other issue that the Nuggets have been dealing with so far this summer. They're able to get the initial stop on the shot. They haven't been able to get the rebound, and the possessions are extended. Indiana stays with the ball.
Well, Walker's away from the basket as a playmaker, shot maker. Right there, best rebounder is 25 feet from the basket. See where he's right there. Excuse me, you're talking about the Nuggets.
I'm talking about the Nuggets, yeah.
Nuggets
Denver.
overall, their size is not great. Just overall, when they think about it, they're basically playing 4 guards.
They also lost Deron Holmes, their #1 pick. It was huge for them. A-10 conference player and defensive player of the year.
You know, interesting. We were talking about this earlier. You know, this is not new for Denver Nuggets to unfortunately have a player that is injured and have to have some patience before he can be healthy enough to play. They did it with Michael Porter, who went through a very, very similar situation. The most important thing is Deron Holmes to be patient. You know, Michael Malone said the other day they're going to support him 100%. He's got a unique skill set. He's got size. He can make shots. He's athletic. He can pass. You can put him in DHOs. But they've been through this before, and they'll stand beside him as he goes through his rehab.
Dave McLaughlin gets that putback for Denver, pushing the lead back to 9 here with 7 minutes to play in this 4th quarter. Brown getting downhill. He's got that quick first step.
He's got that quick first step, and he is really good getting to that right hand. Scouting report would say, let's make him get to his left hand, make him change direction. He gets to his right hand going downhill. He is hard to stop.
PJ Hall says, welcome to my office. I'm going to return the favor in the post.
PJ also showed some versatility here. Passing, knocking down threes, taking people to the block. He's limping a little bit on that right leg, though.
All right, so Holmes, who just had surgery the other day, he said, I want to thank everyone who reached out. It really means a lot. It was cool to see how many people care, people I would never expect. Human nature can be a beautiful thing, man. And that's true, especially social media so often can be such a toxic thing. But to see the love and the support for this young man making the transition to the NBA, wish him the best on his recovery.
He's a terrific young man. And you know, this is the first, I mean, Obi Toppin has been there, obviously. It's a terrific player for Anthony Grant, who's done a terrific job at Dayton. Dayton's a great job. I mean, they care about basketball at Dayton. I mean, that Dayton Arena, that thing is packed every single night. That is a high level, not a mid-major, that is a high major Power 5 program.
See what he did? He was the Rookie of the Year, and then he finished off as the Player of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year, leaving Dayton.
Second team All-American. How about having Obi Toppin and Deron Holmes back-to-back? That's pretty good. That's great evaluation, too, by the Dayton staff.
Also in an era where we're seeing so many young people change schools so often to keep high-level talent, that also goes to show you what that staff is about.
Yeah, and it's really hard in today's environment. If it wasn't for COVID, Dayton would have been #1 seed. Who knows what they could have done with Obi Toppin, because he was an absolute monster. We did a game day there. It was incredible.
Here's Tyson with some space, and he used that screen of a Mack at 6'11" to nail the 3.
And a really good job of reading it. He basically came off that dribble handoff, and he saw the defender go under, created space, and knocked down that jumper. Again, within the offense, that's a shot he'll have to make next season.
Tyson now with 18 points to lead all scorers.
I mean, you look at him, he's 6'8", he can handle a ball, he can pass the ball, he can defend multiple positions. He is a very interesting piece to a team with like 4 really good players.
NBA 2K25 Summer League is proudly sponsored by NBA 2K25. All over every
Vision, what makes him so great and one of the best in the NBA?
His skill set, his basketball IQ, he's the best. He might be the best passer in college basketball. He sees plays so early. His ability to step away from the basket, knock down threes, or back you down, the way he creates angles around the basket to score. The passes he throws. How many guys in the league can throw, like the ones where he catches it and he just flips it over his shoulder and finds a cutter? And he rebounds the ball. I mean, like, he's unique. He's one of one. Maybe another player in the league that plays like him at the level. I mean, forget about the players of the year, just the way he plays.
Well, you also hear about guys who have played with him, and they'll all say the same thing. You better be ready, because no matter where he is on the floor, it's like he has the eyes in the back of his head. He will find you if there's any kind of a crease.
Yeah, he will. You know, the addition of Russell Westbrook, and everyone says the relationship they had through All-Star games. But look at these numbers. I mean, like, it's almost ridiculous. All right, and to me, it's the assist. 9 assists a game, 7.9, 8.3. His efficiency, he still rebounds the ball. I love when defensive rebounding initiates the fast break. He looks like he's going in slow motion, and he eventually gets there and makes the right play. He's just so much fun to watch.
Kendra?
Yeah, John, I covered Jokic for about a year and a half when I was in Denver. And the thing that stuck out to me with Jokic so much is there's this myth that he doesn't really care, right? He's not that involved. No, he is an extremely hard worker. He is so passionate about this game. He hates to lose as much or more than anyone. And the way that he is able to impact his teammates that way, the culture that he has built in Denver is something that's really underrated and not talked about a lot. And also, I just like to say he is a very funny person. I have had so many joking moments with him in the locker room in Denver. He's just such a personality that he kind of hides when he's on the court.
That is interesting. I have not heard that, the personality part of it before.
I want to hear about the horses.
Oh my gosh, I want to hear about the horses. You know, my sister Malika also rides horses, and we're trying to get her on a horse next to Jokic. I want to be there for that moment.
That would be a classic.
That is really good. That's
I like
next
when he
level
puts on
reporting.
the little hat and walks around. I mean, like,
A moment for me that sticks out with Nikola, after he won his second MVP, it was the year that, his first MVP, it's the year the Nuggets didn't make it too far in the playoffs that season. So the Nuggets had to take the MVP trophy over to Serbia, and it was head coach Michael Malone. It was, the front office members. All of these guys flew out to Serbia to surprise him, and Jokic was out on his horses. He got back to the barn, and he saw his entire team with his entire family, his newborn daughter, and he just broke down in tears. And again, that's just something we don't see from Nikola very often. You can tell how much all of that meant to him.
that had to be a big horse, though. I mean, he can't drive. He can't ride on one of those little ponies. I think your sister would be big in Serbia, personally.
I think so too. Let's get her out there. Who do we have to talk to get her out there?
Spark, if you put it out there, maybe it'll happen. Malika to Serbia. Approaching 4 minutes to play in this fourth, and there's a 3-ball for Jarace Walker.
All of a sudden, we got a little bit of a game right here.
Walker, his second 3, he's got 13 points now. He's got 10 rebounds and 6 assists, putting together quite a stat line.
Good job of Furphy holding his spot and walling up right there.
Furphy's got the size advantage, but it's Tyson taking it away. In transition, bang, bang. Hunter Tyson, the scoring punch here for the Denver Nuggets.
It's been much more efficient today, and that's just knocking down that 3. You say, good shot, bad shot, defense, defended inside out. He steps into it, and they were 2-on-1 on the backside in terms of having a chance to get to the offensive glass.
Tyson up to 23 points now, 12 of them coming here in this fourth quarter.
And efficient. Remember last year in Summer League, he averaged 20 points a game and was extremely efficient.
There's Freeman getting to his spot, and the hook goes.
Freeman, an elite rebounder, a dominant player in the MAC, which is one of the most competitive leagues in college basketball.
Sheway throws his hands up, but the whistle is called, and P.J. Hall will go to the line.
Oscar's been pretty quiet in this game.
WNBA All-Star Weekend begins tomorrow night in Phoenix with the 3-point contest and the skills challenge at 9 Eastern on ESPN. And then Saturday, U.S. Women's National Team takes on the WNBA All-Stars in the All-Star Game on ABC at 8:30 Eastern.
Are you in town still for that?
No.
No? Because I know if you were, you'd be probably courtside on the Gucci Row. Is Gucci Row only for UNLV?
Only works for UNLV. It only applies there.
Really?
It applies.
So
Here, right here at the Thompson Mack Center.
You can't call any other...
You can't call any other arena here in Vegas Gucci Row.
Freddie Glass.
I mean, you can, but
it's not the same.
People would know you don't know what you're talking about.
Hunter Tyson really playing at a high level. Active and alert defensively, gets the steal, pushes in transition. Good hands, being in the gap defensively. Watch him reading the defense. Defends inside out. Jump.
Followed by the Lakers and the Cavs. And the Timberwolves and the Rockets cap our coverage at 11 p.m. Eastern here in Las Vegas. Taking over the mothership, ESPN Summer League.
Hey, this is the epicenter of basketball. We've said it all week long, and you're looking at the future right now. That's what it's all about. And you're looking for, it doesn't have to be in the NBA. For these players, they're looking for their next job, a lot of these guys. But, you know, the rookies have showed up and played really well.
And there's still a lot of high-level draft picks that are still playing. Here's some of the guys who put on a performance so far in their time here in Las Vegas, Coach.
Yeah, Connect Castle's a little bit banged up, but he's been terrific as a floor gamer. Shot it a little bit better. Your guy, Buzelis, his versatility is amazing. Reed Shepherd, not just the points, but the assist, ability to stretch the defense. But Bob Carrington, who we're going to see in the next game, all right? Stick around, because I'll tell you one thing, he is one of the best rookies here in Summer League. A Baltimore guard, great feel for the game, can shoot the three, physical. He is going to be an outstanding player. He's going to basically stay home. Although if you ask a guy from Baltimore, they're not from D.C. Baltimore is a state of its own. And then there's D.C.
Who says Baltimore and D.C. are the same thing?
No, but you just don't understand that.
I've lived in D.C. Nobody says that.
If you're from Baltimore,
it's the DMV.
Yeah, but if you're from Baltimore,
there's no B.
It's a state. What? Baltimore is a state. You know, I know BWI, I understand that, but it's a state.
The DMV.
Now, I'm trying to explain it. Baltimore, guys that come from Baltimore, they do not associate with Maryland. They don't associate with D.C. They are a state of their own. And if Malcolm Delaney's listening, who played for me at Virginia Tech, I would hear that every single day.
All right.
And like Sam Cassell, he'd understand it. Bob Carrington, he understands it. It's just different. And for the people, get on Twitter and try to explain it to.
There's nothing to explain, though.
No,
I've lived in D.C.
No, but it's
Nobody
different.
talks about Baltimore and D.C. And it's not disrespectful to Baltimore. It's just not. It's a different area.
It's a totally different entity.
I understand that, right?
It should be.
We're not arguing.
It should be a state. If you ask those guys to play the Baltimore, it should be a state.
The cool thing about that graphic that we had, 3 of those guys are still going to be in action tonight. You got Dalton Connect still playing for the Lakers, Shepherd, Carrington. Those guys are still going to be playing tonight later on ESPN.
Yeah, and we didn't mention Sarr, who has not rebounded the ball well, but he showed a little bit of ability to handle the ball and make plays. He's coming off a game where he was 0 for 15, but speaking to the coaching staff, they're saying his attitude, his energy, he's got a positive mindset. All those things are working in his favor. Again, he's a young player. He's just a developing player. He's 19 years old.
How about this Nuggets team? 0-3 coming into this game. They've withstood every single run as the 3 goes from McLaughlin in the corner. It seemed like Indiana was trying to come back into this game, but Denver on an 8-0 run, trying to close this one out.
And this is all, for these players, this is all about the process of learning NBA rules, NBA spacing, playing on a different stage, being uncomfortable, being comfortable, being uncomfortable. All those things are part of the Summer League. And winning's important. You want to win. But as important as winning is the process of developing a mindset to have a chance to play in the NBA.
Enrique Freeman makes the first. And P.J. Hall will track down that board. He has been banged up, but seeing him healthy on the floor, you can see his energy, that motor that he has. And a timeout, Denver, with 1:08 to play. Looking like Coach Andrew Munson wants to get the final play out of his playbook here to run something down the stretch.
Tricky play down the stretch.
Let's see what he's got. We'll be back. But when you mic them up, you get to learn so much more about them.
You hear good defensive teams, and for a young player to be able to be mic'd up and you hear him, you hear how he talks to his teammates and the communication, offensively and defense. You got to talk offensively as well as defensively. Wait on the screen. I got next one more, whatever it might be. And then defensively, calling out back screens. talking about I got your back, I'll take next pass, whatever it is. For a young player in this new environment, really good defensive teams and really good offensive teams, all right, you can hear them. And that was a great example of that right there.
You've also talked a lot so much this week about when the game slows down, you can tell the signs that it's slowing down for players. And when they're talking, that means they're comfortable and they're directing players on the floor. They understand what's going on.
And they see the game. So they, like great passes, see plays before it happens. Great defensive players and defensive teams see sets. And I call it sighting sets. And the quicker you can sight the set, the quicker now you can try to take someone out because you can read it and then react defensively appropriately, deciding what you're going to give, what you're going to take away. The best defensive teams sight stuff, but the best defensive teams, you can really hear them.
For a young player who's watching the broadcast, what's the best advice you would give them on developing that part of their game?
That part of their game, it's not an in-game thing. It's an everyday thing. Like, you can't pick and choose when you're going to lead. You can't pick and choose when you're going to talk. You can't pick and choose when you're going to play hard. You can't pick and choose when you're going to take a good shot. The best players, all right, do those things consistently. Anyone can do something once. It's doing things consistently that makes someone go from average to good, from good to special.
I watched Scoot Henderson, who was here in Las Vegas, played with NBA G League Ignite, now with the Portland Trailblazers. And one of the things they wanted to work on with him was getting more vocal. He spent 2 years with Ignite. So he said one of the drills he did in the offseason was, even when he was in a gym by himself, he would point out his teammates and yell their name and direct them and tell them where to go. And he said, you know what? I probably looked crazy because I was in the gym by myself just talking to random people. He said, but it helped me actually use that, and it translated to on the court. And I learned how to use my voice year 2 with Ignite versus year 1.
My daughter did that. She had an imaginary friend. I mean, she'd be sitting in her room talking to her imaginary friend, my daughter Ella. But that's good. You got it. But you got to have to be really good in this game. You got to have an imagination, and you've got to have a vision. You've got to be engaged. So I mean, whatever it takes. But it starts in practice. You don't develop habits in a game. You develop habits, in practice. You are your habits in life. You are your habits.
I don't feel so bad. You've been throwing me under the bus. You just threw your daughter under the bus.
Everyone's fair game. My girls,
Nobody's safe when Seth Greenberg is around.
They take it the right